In the year 2174, the orbital Academy Zeta floated high above Earth's surface, built with shining white metal, glowing lights, and gravity control fields. It was a place only the richest and smartest students could attend. Everyone in the school came from space colonies, wore expensive tech gear, and spoke in perfect code dialects. Everyone, except one new student. His name was Jaden. He stepped into Hall A wearing simple black shoes, a gray Earth-style uniform, and no glowing tech on his arms. No one knew where he came from exactly, but they could tell right away. He was a lowlander, a student from Earth's surface. The moment he walked in, the room became quiet. Dozens of students turned to look. Some raised their eyebrows. Others covered their mouths to hide a laugh. Jaden looked around the classroom calmly. He didn't say a word. He didn't smile or look nervous. He just found his seat, placed his plain tablet on the desk, and sat down straight. A boy with shiny silver eyes leaned toward the others. His name was Zero, and he was the top student from Titanis colony. "Look at his shoes," Zara whispered. "No grav clips. Did he walk here?" The others laughed. Jaden heard it, but he didn't turn. The teacher, a holographic AI named Unitra, floated into view. "Welcome, students. Today we begin Level 6 Systems Theory." As the lesson started, most students connected their tablets to the central AI system. Lines of code lit up in the air, but Jaden didn't connect. His tablet was too old. It didn't glow. It didn't sync. He simply took out a small stylus and started writing notes. By hand. Zaro frowned. As soon as the teacher turned to the digital whiteboard, Zaro leaned over and pushed Jaden's tablet off the desk. The tablet hit the floor with a sharp sound. Everyone looked. Jaden bent down, picked it up, dusted it, and calmly placed it back on the desk. No anger, no complaint. Zaro smirked. "Oops." Jaden didn't reply. He just stared ahead at the glowing board, still writing with his stylus. After class, the students filed out into the hall. Jaden walked slowly, carrying his tablet like it was something precious. A group of boys walked behind him, whispering and laughing. At the turn near the gravity elevator, someone stuck out a foot. Jaden stumbled and fell forward, almost dropping his tablet. His bag slid across the smooth floor. The boys behind him laughed loudly. "Careful, lowlander. The floor bites." Jaden picked up his bag and stood up quietly. Still no words, no shouting, no fight. As he walked away, something odd happened. Jaden looked straight up at the ceiling, toward a small black circle, a security camera. He didn't just glance at it, he stared right into it, and for a split second, he smiled. Up in the surveillance control room, a female voice spoke. "Target is aware." Another voice answered. "Male. Deep, calm. Good, he's holding back. Let's see how long he lasts." Back in the dorm halls, Jaden entered his room. It was plain. No decor, no smart wall. Just a bed, a desk, and a data port. He sat down, opened his tablet, and pressed a hidden sequence. A secret file opened. It showed names, student ranks, and behavior records. Zaro's name was near the top. Jaden whispered to himself, "Level 1, complete." He closed the file, looked at his reflection in the dark screen, and said quietly, "Let them think I'm weak. That's how it starts." Just then, a knock at his door. He opened it. No one was there. But on the floor was a piece of paper, old style, folded. He picked it up and opened it. Inside was a message written in clear, printed words. "We saw what they did. If you're one of us, meet at Sector 9 Dome after lights out. The quiet ones." Jaden's eyes narrowed slightly. Then he smiled again. After lights out at Orbital Academy Zeta, the station became quiet. Soft blue lights glowed through the halls, and most students were already in bed, dreaming inside their AI-assisted sleep pods. But Jaden wasn't asleep. He was wide awake, fully dressed, and watching the digital time count down on his tablet. 23:57. 3 minutes to midnight. He slipped out of his dorm room silently. He didn't carry a light, didn't wear any shoes that made noise. He moved like a shadow. The holes were empty. Security drones hovered quietly, scanning for motion. But Jaden knew the blind spots. Somehow, he moved past them without being seen. He reached the Sector 9 dome, a part of the school that had been closed for maintenance for over 2 years. The door was locked with a retinal scanner, but when Jaden looked into it, the scanner beeped and turned green. Access granted. He walked inside. The dome was huge and round, with broken lights and dusty floors, but near the center, a blue circle glowed faintly. 4 figures were waiting. Jaden approached slowly. A girl stepped forward. She had dark braids and wore an old-style jacket with a crest on the sleeve. Her name was Kayla. "You're not scared," she said, studying him. Jaden shrugged. "I don't have time to be." Kayla nodded, impressed. Another student, a tall boy named Reese, stepped beside her. "We've been watching you since you arrived. You're not like the others." Jaden looked around. "You left the paper note." "Why?" Kayla answered, "Because you didn't react when Sarah pushed you. That told us you're trained, just like we are." Jaden's face stayed calm. "I don't know what you mean." Reese chuckled. "Sure you do. You smiled at the camera. You wanted someone to notice. You wanted us." Another girl stepped forward, shorter than the rest, with cybernetic eyes. "We call ourselves the quiet ones. They mock us. They ignore us. But one day soon, we're going to change everything at this school." Jaden raised an eyebrow. "Revenge?" Kayla shook her head. "No, justice." She stepped closer and placed something in Jaden's hand, a metal badge with the Quiet One symbol, a wolf with wings. "You're one of us now." Meanwhile, back in Sector 2 control room, the surveillance team re-watched the feed. A man in a silver coat stood with arms behind his back. His name was Warden Halvix, head of security at Orbital Zeta. He watched Jaden unlock the Sector 9 dome without flinching. "How does he have access?" he asked. An AA assistant answered, "Unknown. Records show he is not registered for dome entry." Warden Halvix frowned. Then he saw Jaden meet the other 4 students. He watched the badge get handed over, and he zoomed in on Jaden's calm, unreadable face. "Track him," Halvix said quietly. "Don't stop him. Not yet. I want to see what he's planning." Back in Sector 9 dome, Kayla brought out a screen showing student rankings. Saro and his crew think they own this school. They've bullied every surface-born student who ever came here, but no one fought back until now. She looked at Jaden. "We're planning something big, something that will happen during the upcoming Interdome Games, in front of the whole school." Jaden stared at the rankings. "He's ranked number 1. You want to knock him off?" "No," Kayla said. "We want the world to see him for who he really is. A coward, a bully, and we want you to help us do it." Jaden smiled again, but this time it was cold. The morning of the Interdome Games came fast. Bright lights flickered across the main arena. Hundreds of students filled the giant circular stadium floating above Earth's atmosphere. Neo-elite students wore shining battle suits, gloves powered by nanotech, and helmets that could read brain signals. But Jaden walked in wearing only a simple black training shirt and pants. No tech, no shine, just silence. The crowd started whispering. "Is he lost? Why is he even allowed to compete? That lowlander won't last a minute." Zaro, the top-ranked student and bully from Class Prime, laughed from his private prep room. He stood with his team, armored head to toe. "Watch me embarrass him in front of everyone," Zaro told his crew. "But what if he surprises us?" one boy asked. Zaro shook his head. "He's a ground rat. No gear, no chance." In the waiting tunnel, Kayla stood beside Jaden, helping him stretch. "You sure about this?" she asked. Jaden gave a small nod. "Let them underestimate me." Reese grinned. "That's your weapon." The quiet ones watched from the shadows above the stadium, hidden in maintenance tunnels and camera blind spots. Everything was ready. Round 1. Reflex Arena. In this match, players had to dodge high-speed drones. One wrong move meant a shock and elimination. Students in full-body tech suits danced around the laser drones like ballerinas. When it was Jaden's turn, the announcer laughed. "We have Jaden, the lowlander, with no gear. This should be quick." The timer began. BZZZZT. The first drone flew straight at Jaden's head. He ducked. Not slowly, but smoothly, as if he already knew where it would go. Another drone zipped by his leg. Jaden flipped over it. Then 4 drones attacked at once. Jaden spun, dropped, jumped, and twisted. The crowd went silent. He wasn't just avoiding them, he was dancing between them, faster than the drones could track. Even the drones began overheating, confused by his unpredictable moves. Time ended. The entire arena stood frozen. A pause. Then a massive roar of applause. Even teachers were standing. In the control room, Warden Halvix narrowed his eyes. He watched the replay at 0.25x speed. "This kid, he's reacting before the drone even fires." Halvix said, "That's not possible." "Unless," whispered the AI. "Unless what?" Halvix asked. "Unless he's not reacting, but predicting." Halvix tapped a command. "Dig into his past. Now." Back in the arena, Jaden walked off calmly, ignoring the crowd. Kayla met him with a shocked expression. "You beat drones with no gear." Jaden gave a soft smile. "The drones move like temple drills. I seem faster." She stared at him. "What kind of temple did you train in?" He didn't answer. Round 2 reveal, duel match. Now, students had to face each other. The crowd buzzed with excitement as names appeared on the giant holoscreen. Jaden versus Starro. Gasps, cheers, and laughter. Starro stood up from his bench, armor glowing gold. "This'll be fun," he smirked. Jaden just stepped forward. No armor, no fear. But deep in the stands, Reese whispered to Kayla, "If Starro makes one wrong move, he's going down." Kayla nodded, and he has no idea. The lights dimmed in the stadium. A blue spotlight circled the battle ring in the center. The screen above flashed. ULMATCH XARO versus JAYDEN. Students shouted with excitement. Some laughed. Others leaned forward, curious. In his shining gold armor, Starro stepped into the ring, lifting his arms to pump the crowd. His boots made a loud clank with every step. Across the ring, Jaden entered barefoot. No armor, no helmet, just calm eyes. The announcer's voice boomed. "One is the top fighter of Class Prime. The other, a mystery from Earth's lower cities. Let's see what happens when tradition meets power." The match begins. The buzzer sounded. Starro dashed forward with a glowing punch lined with electric energy. Jaden didn't move. Until the last second, he tilted his head slightly. Whoosh! Starro's punch missed completely, flying past Jaden's cheek. The crowd gasped. Before Starro could recover, Jaden stepped to the side and lightly tapped Starro's ribs. Thud! It was barely a touch, but Starro stumbled. "What was that?" Starro hissed. He rushed again, this time faster. Punch, kick, sweep, spin. All missed. Jaden didn't strike back, just dodged and shifted like he'd seen it all before. "Why won't you fight me?" Starro yelled, sweating now. Jaden finally spoke. "I don't waste moves." Starro loses control. Frustrated and embarrassed, Starro activated his full armor mode. Golden plates clicked into place. Jets on his boots lit up. He launched into the air and came down like a missile. The crowd screamed. Jaden calmly stepped forward. Crack! With a single twist, Jaden landed a precision strike to Starro's shoulder joint, right where 2 armor plates didn't fully connect. The gold armor sparked. Starro crashed to the ground, unable to move his right arm. Everyone froze. Even the announcer was silent. "Illy, what just happened?" He finally stammered. "Security and suspicion." Suddenly, alarms rang. Warden Halvix stood and shouted, Pause the match. Security. Escort Jaden now. 4 armored guards ran onto the platform. Kayla jumped to her feet in the stands. What are they doing? Reese muttered. They're scared of him. Live feed chaos. As the security team approached Jaden, something unexpected happened. The arena's big screen glitched. It began showing grainy black and white footage. An old martial temple. Masked monks training in ancient hand-to-hand combat. A small boy in the middle, moving like water. A voiceover from the AI system rang out. Warning. Match participant Jaden. Earth ID 7KL92. Trained in Sector 13. Unauthorized zone. Martial temple classified under War Nexus Treaty. Gasps filled the stadium. He's a war monk, someone whispered. The crowd that once laughed now sat in total silence. Jaden's quiet exit. Jaden didn't resist as the guards came near. He looked at the screen, then at the crowd, and smiled. Now they see, he whispered, in the shadows above. The quiet ones watching from above exchanged nods. One of them, wearing a faded temple band, whispered into a mic. The signal was received. Phase 2 is ready. Security had taken him to the lower levels of the academy, where only staff and high-level A's had access. No one knew exactly where he was, not even the teachers. But Kayla was already moving. She wasn't just a student. She was the daughter of a retired Nexus commander, and she had access to files even teachers couldn't see. Late at night, in the library core, Kayla moved quietly through the digital stacks of the Academy's underground library. The walls glowed with soft blue code. Her eyes scanned ancient files, locked behind multiple levels of clearance, until she found it. File. Templechild_7KL92. It opened with a hiss of energy. And what she saw made her breath stop. Jaden's real history. The footage was raw, old. A small boy, maybe 5 years old, standing before fire. Soldiers surrounded a temple. Robots with no faces burned scrolls. Monks lay injured on the ground. Then the camera zoomed in. The boy, standing tall, quiet. Jaden. He raised his hands. And in one smooth move, he brought down 2 adult soldiers using a move so fast the camera blurred. The video froze on his face, eyes glowing faintly. Voice file played. Subject 7KL92 was not born for war, but built to end it. Kayla closed the file. Her hands trembled. They'd have no idea what he is, she whispered. Meanwhile, underground, Jaden sat in a glass holding cell. No chains, no guards inside. Just walls of glowing red light. A voice echoed from above. Warden Halvix. We should have ended you before you got this far. You think this is a game? You think we'll let a ground-born freak humiliate a prime student on live feed? Jaden didn't speak. Halvix stared at him through the glass. Say something. Jaden looked up. His voice was calm. Why are you afraid of me? Halvix stepped back. Jaden stood slowly. The lights flickered. You locked me in, Jaden said, taking one step forward. But you never asked why I came here. Kayla breaks protocol. Back in her room, Kayla sent a secret signal to the only other student who had questions. Rise, the quiet tech genius who had been tracking Jaden's movements since day one. Meet me now, she typed. When Reese arrived, Kayla pulled him into a hidden lab. Jaden's not a threat, she said. Then what is he? Kayla turned the screen. He's a signal, a warning. The temple didn't die. It sent him here to test us. Reese stared. You mean, this whole time, he was watching how we treat outsiders? Kayla nodded. And we failed. The Academy reacts. By morning, news of Jaden's origin had spread. Students whispered in hallways. The bullies stayed quiet now. Zaro never came out of the med chamber. And Principal Eric, he called an emergency staff meeting. This is a containment breach, he said. That boy cannot remain here, not with his background. But someone else was already on their way. An old man with a cane, dressed in dark robes, stepped out of a hover pod near the school gates. He wore a crest on his chest. Temple of Nexus Flame. and he had come to bring Jaden home. The school gates opened just after sunrise. All eyes turned toward the sky, where a single dark hoverpod lowered through the clouds. Unlike the school's golden drones, this one was black, silent, and carried no ID beacon. From inside stepped Master Kalen, tall, quiet, dressed in dark robes. He walked with a wooden cane and wore a faded symbol on his chest, the Temple of Nexus Flame. Everyone watching froze. Even Principal Elric stood speechless. The cell opens. Deep underground, Jaden sat cross-legged inside his red-lit glass cell. Suddenly, the power dimmed. The lights flickered once, then shut off completely. The glass dissolved into smoke. Master Kalen stepped forward from the shadows. "You waited patiently," he said. Jaden opened his eyes. "I remembered the lesson. A warrior only strikes when there is purpose." Kalen gave a soft smile. "And now your purpose begins." The truth revealed back upstairs. The academy staff panicked. Cameras across the building were blacked out. Kayla and Reese watched from the comm tower as emergency lights flashed. "He's not here for revenge," Kayla said. "Then what?" Reese asked. She turned the monitor toward him. A decoded message blinked on the screen. "Test complete. Outcome: Earthborn still hold the flame." Kayla whispered, stunned. "Jaden wasn't here to fight them. He was here to test us." Jaden walks through the halls. Jaden walked calmly past his old classroom. Students peeked out from doors, watching in silence. Some bowed their heads. Others moved out of the way without a word. Even Sarah, who once mocked him, stayed silent in the hallway corner, bruised and ashamed. Jaden stopped. He looked at Sarah and simply said, "You feared weakness, but it wasn't in me." Then he walked on. At the main hall, Principal Elric blocked the exit, guards behind him. "You're not leaving until we say so," he shouted. "You can't walk out like some kind of hero." Master Kalen stepped beside Jaden. "I did not come here for your permission." He raised his cane slightly. A pulse of invisible force knocked the guards off balance. Kalen looked into Eric's eyes. "You failed this test, as did your students." Jaden walked through the crowd, and no one dared stop him. The departure. At the launch pad, a new hoverpod waited. Sleek, silent, glowing with old temple script. Jaden turned one last time. Kayla and Ruiz stood there. "Thank you," he said. "Where are you going?" Ruiz asked. Jaden looked to the sky. "To the real academy." The pod rose, higher and higher, then vanished through a silver ripple in the clouds. The message left behind. Later that day, Kayla found a small disc on her desk. She played the message. Jaden's voice echoed. "One day this world will face a greater enemy than pride, wealth, or power. And when it comes, you will remember the boy you laughed at, because I'll be the one who stands in front of it."